Okay, so in your table of contents, you're going to add 1.3. 1.3 is the properties of addition. Okay, this lesson has a lot of definitions in it, but it's not super long. Okay, look up what page you're going to be on. I'm on page, I haven't been numbering them, 9. Properties of addition. Add it to your table of contents. 1.3 properties of addition. Mine's on page 9. Write down whatever page you're on.
On page 9. What page are you going to write on? This one or this
Start on a new page. You decide how you want to do it. Turn it on.
Did you not schedule for this year?
Okay, then go to your new page. At the top, write it again. Do your underline.
Hey, you're on flash pen.
Okay, can somebody tell me what the objective is for today? I can explain and apply the properties of addition.
Should I put this in something important?
Okay, you've probably heard of these before. Does anybody remember one of them?
I know the words. Left or right? No, that's.
Okay, for example, the first one we are going to talk about is called the commutative property. Okay. All done right now. So we're gonna write down commutative property. Yeah, they're over here by the scratch paper.
You could just use my hands, I think.
Of addition. Make sure you write addition because there's a commutative property of multiplication and they're different. Okay. Does anybody remember what the commutative property does? It has to do with the order that we add things in. So what this says is the order in which two or more numbers are added does not affect the sum. So all this is saying is you can add 3 plus 4 or 4 plus 3 and you're going to get the same answer. Okay, it doesn't matter what order you add things in. We're gonna write A plus B equals B plus A underneath to remember that rule. Highlight that in pink or whatever your vocabulary color is. Yours is pink. Okay, so the order that you add things in does not matter. I can do 5 plus 3 plus 2, or I can do 2 plus 3 plus 5. Either way, it equals 10. Okay, the order doesn't change your answer. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about, whoops. Okay, the closure property of addition. This one's kind of like commonsensical. Okay. All this one says is that if you add two real numbers, you're going to get a real number. So the sum of two real numbers is also a real number. Okay, so all those different groups that we talked about and made the posters over are all inside the real numbers. If we add two of those, we're going to get another real number. We're not going to end up in the complex numbers. Highlight that in pink. The next one is the associative property of addition. No, we did not. Okay, the associative property has to do with parentheses. Okay, so what this says, whoops, I zoomed in 1 second. The order in which three or more numbers are grouped for addition does not affect the sum. Okay, so this has to do with parentheses. So our example for this is going to be A plus B in parentheses plus C equals, and then we're going to move the parentheses so that B and C are in the parentheses. Okay. And make sure you highlight that in pink, or if you're using a different color for vocabulary, that color. Okay, so example 2 plus 6 plus 10 and 2 plus 6 plus 10. What's 2 plus 6?
8.
What's 8 plus 10? And what's 6 plus 10? What's 16 plus 2? So it doesn't matter where you put the parentheses, the problem works out the same way. Questions so far? Too easy, I like it. Next one is the identity property of addition. When I say identity, what do you think of? What something is. So all this one says 0 added to any real number is that real number. So all this is saying is if you add 0 to anything, you get the same number back. Okay, it identifies itself. 1 plus 0, 1. 2 plus 0, 2. Okay, so our example for this is a plus 0 equals a. Doesn't matter what a is, you're always going to get a back. Make sure you highlight in pink. It's a 0. Another note under that, the additive identity. If somebody says, what is the additive identity? Do you know what that is? It's just a fancy way of asking for 0. The additive identity is 0. Sometimes they call it the identity element. All right, last property. Inverse property of addition. Okay, inverse. What does the word inverse mean? Opposite. So for this, the sum of any real number and its additive inverse is 0. For example, a plus negative a equals 0. Last thing we're going to write down today is additive inverse. And that is just the opposite of a number. So what's the additive inverse of 2? Negative 2. What's the inverse of negative 11? Positive 11. Okay, that's all that means. Questions about any of these? One second. If you're done, go ahead and put your markers away. Let's do it that way.
Oh, dude. I did it.
Okay. One second.
Wow, I think that's quite a sword. No. I got it.
Okay, so if you go into our class, you don't have to do this right now, just listen and then you can do it. Okay. In modules, there's an assignment that says 1.3 practice. Okay, it's not a CK12. Okay, it is 10 questions. All you have to do is tell what property they are talking about. So you read it, and then you type your answer down here. You say number 1. I don't know. I haven't read it. Identity. Okay, then you do number 2 and so on. So you got 10 answers in here. When you are done, hit submit down at the bottom. Okay, this will save your draft. So if you come tomorrow, or actually this is due on Thursday, and you say, oh, I did it, but it deleted all my work, false. It automatically saves. So if that's your excuse, that means you're lying to me. Okay. So all you gotta do is answer these 10 questions, type them in this box, hit submit. If you don't need, yep. You can use your notebook to answer these questions. If you think you don't need it, then you can put it away. Then you can put it away. Okay. 7th period, if you don't have your own highlighters, you can catch up the highlighting tomorrow.